Hello everyone and welcome to the latest edition of This Racing Life, and in this episode we'll be taking you on a whistle-stop tour through a horse's career, a career that can start at a place like this, the Tattersalls Somerville Sale, which has come a long way in a short space of time. Harvey, what are we doing down here?
So I've been allocated my runs of horses about a week ago. We're here the morning of the sale and I'm starting to have a look at the horses I'm due to be selling today. So we're down here at Hazelwood Bloodstock this morning, lot 74 here in front of us. Just having a look at how he's done. I was fortunate, and actually this is the horse that I inspected out on the farm earlier this year, so not the first time I've actually seen this particular horse, but I'm just looking to see how he's done. I'm going to have a chat with Adrian O'Brien, the consigner, the owner of Hazelwood Bloodstock this morning, and just have a discussion with him about how the horse is going down, how it's being received, what sort of value he thinks the horse might have a bit later on today, and just get my talking points in for when I'm up on the rostrum later, a few little tidbits I might be able to throw in to encourage a few bids later on. Ultimately, I've got two and a half minutes to get up there and sell the horse to its best ability later on. But I'm going to be looking at traits. Is it a horse that looks like he'd be a 3-year-old? Is he going to be a 2-year-old? He might be suitable to different types of buyers, which is then going to be interesting when I see who's coming into the ring and looking like they might be throwing in a bit later on this morning. I've been allocated 3 runs today. Most auctioneers will do 3 or 4 runs in a day of about 15 horses each. So I'll be looking at best part of 45 horses throughout the course of today. I'll look at my first run this morning, I'll see how that goes, see how the market goes, and then I'll look at horses for my runs later on in the day, a bit later on. As we can see now, there's a vet looking at this horse now. He's obviously been asked by a client to come down and have a look at it. That will happen throughout the day. So how the sale will evolve can always happen quite last minute as well. I'll have a chat with Adrian later on and he'll say, okay, I think these are the people that have come back a second or third time to look at the horse. These are the people that have sent a vet down. These are the people I think might be interested. So it's useful for me as an auctioneer to know who am I going to be looking out for when that horse comes into the ring.
What's very interesting is we were speaking before and you said it wasn't the end goal to become an auctioneer. It's something you'd maybe thought about, but it wasn't exactly something that was at the forefront of your mind when you approached that.
No, I was actually working on a stud farm in Kentucky when the job at Tattersalls was advertised, say 11, nearly 12 years ago. I applied for the job and it came up in the interview. The interview panel said, you sound like you've got a good voice, would you like to give it a try? And that's something that we've seen even with newer people that are coming to the firm as well, that people are encouraged that if they'd like to have a go out and get some experience, cut your teeth on charity auctions, farm stock. I did poultry markets and things like that, just to learn the patter, to learn how people trade, and then practice in an empty sale ring up here, and then at some point the powers that be will say, I think you're ready to have a go, and away you go. You get up there. You'll never know nerves. Like the first run, you get on that rostrum where you're handed the gavel and you get up there and you feel like the world is watching you. But it's also a great buzz as well.
A great buzz. I imagine that hand was shaking when the gavel came down for the first time.
Oh, absolutely. I think a horse of John Jenkins that I sold made 10,500. You'd always remember that first one.
It's such an interesting discipline because it's an element of theatre. There's a performing element to it. You are high up and eyes are on you, but you aren't the main attraction.
Yeah, correct. You don't want to take away from the horse which is on the ring, which is effectively what everyone's trying to buy. They're trying to buy the dream. We're trying to sell the dream. We want to try and dictate the pace of the sale and get the bids coming in a timely manner, but we don't want it to be all about us. We want it to be about the horse in the ring and people trying to buy something that's going to give them that real adrenaline rush when it passes the winning post in front, hopefully in a year or two time.
And as if you needed other strings to your bow, that isn't your only responsibility at Tattersalls.
No, so we've got a large team now in the bloodstock department, so we day to day tend to look after vendors, consigners, looking at horses, collating the catalogues. And when we're cataloguing upwards of 10,000 horses a year across our group, it's a very full-time role. Often people say, what do you do when the sales aren't on? But it's actually when we're collating these books and we're putting them together and we're trying to source the very best stock that we can to bring to sale at Tattersalls, that really commands our attention 5 days a week.
What sets the Somerville sale apart from any of the other sales that you might have throughout the year?
It's got a very short history compared to most other Tattersalls sales, and that's what's so exciting about it. It's developed very quickly from a sale that we had down at Ascot and was very successful down at Ascot. We moved it to Tattersalls during COVID, and we got it here and we said this is going really well. The type of horses were selling well, and then as we've seen in recent years with horses like Bradsell and Relief Rally, they're really hitting the track and doing great things as well. So it's a really exciting part. We've had a lot of the younger members of the office be very proactive in the promotion of the sale as well, which I think has been really good, and engaged a younger audience as well in terms of the participants that are bringing horses here to sell and buying horses from us as well.
Obviously it's quite a young sale, hasn't been going for very long, but I've been quite a fan of it over the last couple of years. It seems to have a very strong trade, a lot of footfall here, producing terrific results on the race course as well, which is all important. So I think it's a sale that's worth supporting for sure.
We saw a couple of your yearlings parading.
Mm-hmm.
The Ardad colt, there's a particularly nice story behind that.
Well, I bought him as a foal to basically as an incentive or a sort of a bonus for our staff at home, our exceptional staff at home. So we've divided up ownership of him, and hopefully he goes and makes a little bit of profit later on.
Well, you never know who you're going to meet here at a Tattersalls sale, especially the Somerville. Every name and face is here, including Racing TV's Jess Stafford. But Jess, you've got your Thurlow hat on.
I certainly do. I aim to come to every sale sort of in Europe with my parents, trying to buy the next star, trying to buy a winner, really. And this sale is the first time here, actually. Been to Tats all my life with all the other sales, but the Somerville's been so successful this year. So many stakes winners, but for good value and proper 2-year-olds, so that's what I'm trying to find. Okay, so this Kodiak filly, obviously by a sire that's, been very, very successful. Relief Rally just being this year, a standout. And this is what I love, a horse that gets their head down, uses itself well. She's got lovely big ears, she's got a kind eye, she's having a good look at us. But the more she does, I think the better she uses herself. And I'll look at her from the front as well. And importantly, it's crucial just to make sure that they are pretty correct in front. Coming to me is quite straight. She's a little bit close in front in terms of her front legs, but it's nothing to worry about too much.
So we've seen a filly. Here's a colt.
Well, he's one of those horses that strikes you very quickly as he comes out of his box. He's got a very active walk and moves incredibly well. The first thing you look at is you go, God, this is an athlete, and then you look at the sire, and then you look at the breeding, and then you think, is he worth buying? But the first thing you look at is whether you think he's going to be a racehorse, and it's usually the first viewing or the first sighting, something hits you, and as far as I'm concerned, it hit me. Now the sire's gone a little bit cold. His son Havana Grey is carrying all before him, and in a way, it's probably the best time to buy his father's horses. They've got a reserve that's reasonable, and everyone's got to then assess whether he's worth having. But he's certainly a lovely horse, a lovely looking horse.
101 Hazelwood, yep, here's a colt by Ardad at a Poet's Voice mare. At 45,000, goes on the back wall. At 45,000, all done. At 45,000, last time.
Oh, what a fantastic result. You must be absolutely over the moon.
Yeah, absolutely thrilled, Anthony. Delighted for the full-time crew back home. Wonderful group of people, very hard-working, and this is very, very much well-deserved.
Just give it a very brief recap of the steps from when you pinhooked this colt right up until now.
We bought him, it was towards the end of November or early December, the December sales here last year, for 4,000 guineas. We just took him home, we put him out for the winter with the rest of them. fed them up and, watched them develop. And fortunately, in this guy's case, he developed beautifully. He was always a good moving colt with a very limited pedigree, but he grew into a lovely individual. Then he's been in prep at home for the last 8 or 9 weeks. And then we came here, and he's been very well able to show himself off and show his athletic qualities.
Some people are optimists, some people are pessimists. Where would you fall into that category?
In this game, you've got to be an optimist. And we move from day to day with nervous optimism, I think. Never get too far ahead of ourselves, because you never know what's around the corner, full of pitfalls. But getting results like that today is just wonderful for everybody.
And with that cautious optimism, where roughly would you have been happy for the hammer to fall?
When we got here the last couple of days, he's been very well received. So I was hoping for 15 to 20,000 would have been a fantastic result. And then luckily, 2 people. Best of luck, by the way, to Ammo Racing and to Hamish McCauley, who purchased him. I think it was Dwayne and Sean Woods were underbidders. So it was a great battle from I can't remember where they got where they locked horns, as it were. But yeah, great battle, and I wish Emma the very, very best of luck with them, obviously.
And one final question: how exactly will you and the team celebrate?
I think we will continue to prep our Book 1 and Book 2 horses, and we'll think about celebrations later in October.
If you want to start 65.
You finished? That's fine. No, it's all right. Don't worry about it. Yeah, it's not for us. We went in for the Vanna Gold, which we really loved. I think it was Dad's pick, but we valued him at a certain price. We bid to a certain price, and you have to turn away and walk away when you think you've just stretched above your max. And we went up to 65, and Ross, who was standing with us, actually bought him in the end for 78 to go to Richard Hannon. Real standout horse. A lot of the Breeze Up boys were on him. I think he was a very nice physical, but just stretched our budget. So it was disappointing, but you've got to pick yourself up and keep going at the sales. So very much used to a bit of heartbreak.
Picked yourself up and went with lot 177, a Bungle in the Jungle filly.
Yeah, so this is a filly that I saw earlier on today, and she struck me because she was a big size, a very big size compared to some of them which have been smaller. The sires had a brilliant year. Give Me the Beat Boys being an obvious standout, Supersonic Man, and he's a tough, genuine, fast horse. And I also particularly like the combination with Jeremy as a broodmare sire, who again has been excellent both over hurdles and on the flat. It's a stamina-laden pedigree on the dam side, but a lot of very good individuals, and the dam was 90 rated. I thought she was a very attractive sort, bit bigger than, as I said, a lot of them. She might not be as early as 2-year-old, but I'm hoping that she would be, and we're delighted to get her for what we did. So yeah, really, really pleased.
Horses have been trained here at Kremlin House Stables for well over 100 years, and it's a place steeped in history and big race winners. You had the late great Michael Jarvis train an ARC winner from here. You had Roger Varian stand out Group 1 winners in the formative years of his training career, and now Tom Clover has been able to add to it, with Rogue Millennium getting her big day at Royal Ascot in the Duke of Cambridge, and that is the epitome of success in the first 4 years of him training here. Take me back to that first year. We visited you, but a lot of water's gone under the bridge. What were your first impressions of moving up from assistant to your name finally above the door?
It's just something I've always dreamed of doing and always really wanted to do, and so taking that leap of faith, getting in there, getting your own licence and having your own horses, and you were training, you were away, so having your first winner and building the stock over the years, I suppose, and trying to just improve each year and just trying to get better, improve the quality of horse you buy, and just trying to grow, I suppose, has been fantastic.
There's been year-on-year progression, but I think bar one season, but last year, your best ever total, and this year you've started just as strong.
Yeah, no, it's good. I suppose we always want to try and improve and do better, and I feel sort of we've won quite a lot of maidens throughout the time, which is something we really strive to do is go to the sales and source horses that are up to potentially winning a maiden, and hopefully they can go on and perform well in good handicaps or at stakes level, and they can either be sold, which is part and parcel of our industry, or hopefully we can enjoy them as race horses. And yes, that's a big part of our business, trying to get the young stock through and trying to attract potential owner breeders. But we've got some fantastic owners, people at the Rose Gallery who have supported us sort of the last 4 years. And they came with 6 horses, and we've sort of grown together to a certain extent. And we've got 24, 25 of them, I think now, and just trying to grow the quality of horse the whole time. We actually had an open day for them last Sunday, and it was I noticed particularly the quality of horse had really improved from sort of we do 3 a year, and hopefully we can continue to improve.
Well, if ever you needed a better advertisement for joining the Rogues Gallery and Tom Clover Racing, Rogue Millennium is that advert. She's put your name in lights, not just at Royal Ascot, but she was your first stakes winner as well, winning the Lingfield Oaks Trial.
She's been an amazing filly right from the get-go, winning on debut and going to the Oaks Trial. You said gave us a day out in the Oaks, and she hit the front 2 out, and she probably didn't quite stay. So, but no, then coming back to winning at Royal Ascot this year over the mile. In the Duke of Cambridge was a really special day for everyone, for the Rogues, for us, for my wife and I, and for the whole team here, and the history of the yard. Trying to increase the history of the yard. So it was a really special day. She's a very special filly, and hard to explain how much it sort of you work towards so much of your life towards ticking off that box, and it's great to get to that notch under your belt, and hopefully we can continue to improve going forward.
What I find very interesting about you is you're very glass half full. There's plenty of people in our industry, you see it every day, who there's always something to complain about. There's always something that's going wrong. You don't see things that way.
No, I'm very much glass half full. I don't want to spend the rest of my training life moaning about prize money. Well, we know it's bad, and there's lots of people far higher up than I am trying to sort it out. But we have got the best racing in the world. You have to look at the amount of people that come here for Royal Ascot, and then people that come to Glorious Goodwood or York, or York's brilliant prize money. But do we've got some fantastic racing. We still breed some terrific horses. Yes, there's problems need addressing, but I'm very grateful for what we've got. In Newmarket, it's a wonderful place to train race horses. We've got Tattersalls down the road. We're very lucky to be doing the job we're doing, really, I feel, and hopefully you can just keep pushing forward and keep improving, and hopefully at some stage those problems, those issues that the industry has, we all know about, will improve soon.
You can have the best ideas in the world. If you don't have the people to carry out instructions, you won't get anywhere as a racehorse trainer. You've got a great staff available to you.
Yeah, no, very lucky with the staff. We've had a good core that have been with us for a while now, and they're terrific, and they'll write a lot of the work. We time all the work, and so often my instruction, similar to they do in Hong Kong, would be sort of please do a 119 for your 6, and they'll get it right most of the time. So really good core of staff, and really help with sort of my feedback for the horses, and actually I'm really enjoying having the young staff coming through. We've got 3 or 4 nice young staff who are really sort of been with us a little bit now, and they're just getting going, and it's great to have them on board. And we have some good fun. We have a rounders in the paddock in the summer, and we have take on Harry Eustace's team, or we do we'll have barbecues, and we'll go out for drinks and things, and they're we'll go out for supper, and they're a really good team, and we're very lucky to work with them.
Where there's Tom Clover, there's Jackie Jarvis,
Yep.
and without Jackie, I'm assuming things would be a hell of a lot harder to run around this place.
Yes, we speak a lot, and it's we do it all really together. So she's always around in the office, and we chat things through, and we do it all together really. It's if I'm always busy away at the sales, or she's here helping running everything, and if I can't go racing because we've got owners in or something, she's very happy to go racing. So no, absolutely, it's a team effort.
You mentioned the glass half full attitude. You'd need it with 29 seconds that you've had this season as well. I think I've worked out as well, I think 76 of your 130 something runners have all been in the first 4 as well. Yeah. It's remarkable how many times you've hit the crossbar, but business as usual, things have to carry on.
Yeah, it feels like that with those seconds, but the big one won at Ascot. We had a lovely winner on Sheikh Cup Day, and they've been running well all year. On the whole, most have been running really, really well, and it's unfortunate to have that many seconds. Another day there'd have been lots more, but hopefully those seconds will turn into winners. They'll have a great autumn, and we can kick on. It's just been one of those years. There's been an awful lot of them.
Looking to the future, the immediate future, in 5 years, what would you like to have said? I've achieved this and I'm very happy with how things are going.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a lovely yard here, but there's some empty boxes, so it'd be great to continue to grow, grow the team of staff, grow a lovely band of horses. As I said, we've got some terrific owners, real variety, and I really feel they're a terrific group, and I love training for them. So hopefully we can just grow that and grow the number of horses here. And I suppose ultimately we want more stakes performers and stakes success. That's the 0 to 55s, 4 and up, don't interest me as much. Obviously they serve a purpose and things, but actually getting to those, trying to achieve that sort of stakes, getting those stakes horses in the yard and winning some pattern races is what I dream about, and that's where we want to be, and trying to get those champion horses. You go through the hallway here, the show just showed you, and there's Racti and there's Carroll House and there's Iswara and things, and we want to start adding to the history here of the yard. So that's the dream. Nice full yard of horses, happy and healthy, and keep kicking.
So you've been to the sales ring, you've been to a trainer who's really making waves, just 4 years into his new digs, and maybe one day, if they're lucky, horses will be able to stay here at Dalham Hall. So much to look forward to for Godolphin, and the residents of Dalham Hall Stud really are millionaires row. Here he is, Dubawi, the incomparable. Just a wonderful legacy horse for Dalham Hall Stud to still be enjoying, Dawn.
He certainly is. He's been a phenomenal sire for all these years, and as you say, he's left a legacy of stallion sons for us and for other people. We're just very lucky to have had him. He's just been an incredible stallion, leading stallion, and the great thing about Dubawi is you can get winners from sprinters through to your classic winners, your guineas winners, right through to your St. Leger distance, your cup horses. So that's sort of what's amazing about Dubawi. He's 21 now, and as you can see, he's in great form. He covered just over 130 mares this year, and he approached the end of the season exactly the same as he did at the beginning. He loves his job. And I mean, if you look at him, he's not your classic, he's not like Palace Pier. He's not a big, scopy horse. He's slightly different in his physique. He's a compact, small, very strong horse, and some of that he passes on to his offspring, and at other times he gets the lovely big classic horses like his father was a big, strong, Dubai Millennium was a big, strong, scopy horse.
David, he was a ball of speed on the track. How's Perfect Power adjusted to stallion life?
Well, as you can see, he's pretty happy. He's settled in really well. Yeah, he covered his first book of mares last year. He was well supported. And he's thriving. I was just actually saying to the guys, it's the first time I've seen him in a little while, and he's done phenomenally well physically. He looks really strong and healthy.
His exploits on the track speak for itself. He was champion 2-year-old. He was able to win the Commonwealth Cup as a 3-year-old as well. That means he most likely is very commercially marketable to a game that is very much has an emphasis on speed commercially.
Yeah, exactly. He's pretty much exactly what the market wants. The emphasis towards Royal Ascot and having a Royal Ascot 2-year-old now is bigger than it's ever been. And he was, as you said, very precocious. He was a breeze up graduate. He raced, I think, about 3 times in a few weeks, maybe just under a month. There was a very short amount of time between his maiden win and when he went to Ascot, which just displayed his toughness to go through a breeze up prep. All of everything that goes with that, going to the sale, being paraded constantly, and then getting to the track and running and winning the way he did, just shows his toughness and tenacity.
Given his profile on the track, given the pedigree, you would expect him to be very popular in his first season. Did he about match up to expectations you had prior to the covering season?
In truth, we weren't 100% sure how he'd be received, just given there is such a recency bias around stallions at the moment, and the industry in general. It's sort of what have you done for me lately, and the fact that I think that the second half of his season didn't probably go as planned, might have affected him a little bit, but we were still delighted with the end result. You know, he was well supported by, you know, some good breeders. They sent him nice mares. So it all worked out in the end, but to answer your question, it didn't probably go as planned initially, but we got there in the end, so yeah.
Always very exciting for any horse to be going into their first covering season. What were expectations for him?
Well, our aim is to give him the best chance to succeed, which I think we did. You know, we really sort of got breeders up to the stud to see him over the December period, and you know, the end result was he got a strong book of mares. We were happy with what he got. He's going to have mares that are going to give him a chance to have early runners, which is so important for a horse like him. So yeah, you know, the signs are good early on. We're going to find out in a few years' time, but we couldn't really have done much more than we did. So,
Dawn, there were a couple of names on everyone's lips in anticipation at the beginning of this season, and Too Darn Hot very much one of them. The results really starting to come through now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we weren't expecting anything too early with Too Darn Hot. He himself didn't run and win until August, but now in this late summer he's really got going. He's got 3 individual group winners in Carolina Reaper, Darnation and Fallen Angel, all of which will probably go on to bigger and better things. And I think as we go into the autumn, those major races you'll expect to see plenty of representation from Too Darn Hot. So we're very happy with how he's going at the moment.
It's a pedigree that screams longevity. It screams will get better with age. Being a son of Dubawi, but also being a son of Darley, who all of the family improved with a few years under their belt.
Absolutely, and I mean, Too Darn Hot has everything. As you say, he's got this immense pedigree. He's by one of the best stallions in the world, and he was a brilliant racehorse. He's also an incredibly good-looking horse, so he really does tick every box as a stallion.
Has that transferred over to his progeny in most of them that you've seen on the track, that they have his look?
Yeah, I think he could be a little bit like Dubawi, that you do get them in slightly different shapes and sizes, but I mean, you know, that's never stopped Dubawi, and I don't think it's going to stop Too Darn Hot.
And on we move to Cracksman, David, who is fast becoming a name to follow going forward.
Well, yeah, I think when you've got a horse like Ace Impact, you know, sort of carrying the torch for you there in France, it's he's going to be on, you know, everybody's mind. He's got I think Ace Impact's now the time form top-rated 3-year-old in Europe, so really exciting times for this horse.
Really exciting times. What would his book of mares generally be? We associate him, he had blistering speed. His efforts in the Champion Stakes will live long in the memory. What kind of mare was sent to him?
It's quite varied. You know, you will get the odd sort of speed mare, but then you'll get quite a few sort of middle distance types. He was probably at his best over 10 furlongs. But his speed influence, as you said, is certainly there. You know, he is a speed gene, complete CC speed gene, which is sort of rare in a horse of his type. But I think with that pivotal sort of dam side coming out through his pedigree, it's just putting a bit of speed into his offspring.
Just for anyone who isn't familiar, the CC speed gene, just please explain.
So our horses there are 3 different genome types for thoroughbreds. CC, which is entirely speed, CT, which is, as you'd think, is sort of 50-50, and then a TT is a stamina influence, and he is complete speed influence, which is just a little bit surprising considering he was best over 10, but not surprising given his pedigree and given he's by Frankel. So,
and to have Frankel as a part of Dalham Hall Stud via his son Cracksman is a big feather in the cap as well, because he's a name that you just can't get rid of. He is going to be around for a long time, and with great reason.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Frankel's a phenomenal racehorse, and he's becoming a phenomenal stallion. And to have his best son at the moment standing here it's great. You know, it's great. And it's great for breeders, it's great for us, and it's great for the thoroughbred breed in general.
So the latest edition of This Racing Life has come to a close. Thank you to Tattersalls, Tom Clover and all the team here at Dalham Hall Stud for opening their doors to us this week. Bye-bye. We'll see you again very soon.
Subscribe to Racing TV's YouTube channel now to watch more great races like this.